What's up, everybody? We are back. John Delarose here. Delarose.com. That's DELARROZ.com. You should head over there right now, sign up for my newsletter, and get some free comics so you can start enjoying some great indie comics by somebody who doesn't hate you. And that is going to be the story today. Comic writers hate you. And this has been the case in the industry for a long time. Of course, a lot of you already know this because I broke the story in the Federalist years ago about how they only hire extreme agitators from the left to write comic books at DC and Marvel Comics. And so this comes as no surprise today, as we have the son of Greg Rucka and Jennifer Van Meter, two very prominent comic writers as of late. Rucka, of course, has really done most of DC for the last 20 years. And Van Meter has been pushed harder with all this weird Marvel stuff that they've been doing recently. Their son was arrested in BLM rampage, as this is the New York Post, not exactly a conservative magazine, calls it. And they went and smashed some windows of a Starbucks. And so Elliot Rucka was 20, and he went and damaged and vandalized some banks, Starbucks, Dwayne Readers, which I don't even know what that is, and just took it down. So this was organized apparently by the New African Black Panther Party, and they pushed and destroyed these neighborhoods, and he got arrested. So this is what happens when, at least thankfully, it's getting to the point where these rioters are getting arrested, and I hope they all go to federal prison, and I hope they deter other people from destroying small local businesses, destroying people's livelihoods. Think about it. You got this son of a privileged comic writer, two privileged comic writers who are just out there spouting off this nonsense all the time about how they hate our country. And he goes out there and destroys these places where people are working at a Starbucks for what, $15, $16 an hour, and that's their livelihood. And he goes through there and, has to do this to make his cause point, whatever. This is the type of people we're dealing with. And this is the type of the people that the comic book industry hires. So it's time to stop this nonsense. And definitely, we're not going to be supporting people who work for DC Comics like this anymore. DC Comics needs to put out a statement disavowing the riots. They posted all their hashtag BLM stuff, but I doubt they're going to be doing it soon, because this just came out today, that they're putting out a Wonder Women of History. And of course, they're not putting in people like our wonderful press secretary, Kayleigh McKinney, or anybody like Ivanka Trump, who has accomplished something big, or anybody like Kim Kardashian, who's also accomplished something big in her life. No, they're putting AOC and Rashida Tlaib. I don't even know how to pronounce her name. Sorry. I don't care. And of course, Elizabeth Warren in there. These people have not really accomplished anything other than being race mongers who are causing the riots here in NYC and in Portland and in other towns. And they're just there because they're tokens, especially Elizabeth Warren, who's a token Native American, of course. And it's obvious that the agenda is on the line here. So they're doubling down, and this is exactly what we expect them to do it all the time. And this is exactly why it's so important to support indie comics and not this nonsense from the corporate DC, which has gone so far off the rails that they're going to continue to spiral. As the comic shops close, as the comic shops fail, as it keeps getting worse and worse, they're going to keep pushing further, saying that they want a new audience. They don't want you. They want a different audience, a less toxic masculine audience. They want people like AOC, who are never going to read comics, to come in and buy comics for some reason. It's a bizarre business strategy, but since they're backed by AT&T, since Marvel's backed by Disney, they don't have to care about a business strategy. All they care about is having these properties for the movies. Comic books don't matter anymore, and that's why we are here to make a change for culture. So we got Flying Sparks for you. This is the Kickstarter we've got up right now. I'm going to put this link in the description below. Flying Sparks is a superhero adventure just like you used to get before these companies were taken over by these multinational corporations who are just spouting this stuff and causing violence against your cities. I have a real superhero in Metagirl who prevents violence. That's her whole job. She's out there trying to do good work, trying to bring down criminals. And that is what comics used to be. This is when comics used to be fun. As you can see, we've got a great new villain for Volume 4 who is coming out, and he is dangerous. He is immune to shock because, of course, wood does not conduct electricity. And so he poses a big problem for our protagonists. And this is going to be the best volume yet, hands down. You can go on Amazon and look at the reviews of Flying Sparks. People love this series. CBR actually did a nice piece on it and calls it the kind of stuff that used to make me fall in love with Marvel Comics. And you should back it today. Support indie comics. Ditch DC. See you guys.